Hey, hey, we're recording, we're live. This is my first time doing a private Zoom. Let me see, there should be a chat function here. I'd love to know who's here. Here, so I just typed here in the chat. Who else is here? I see so far there are 2 participants. It is Saturday afternoon, 2:30, and I have plans for a wonderful, I got invited to a jazz concert, and we're going to see how that works out because it is scorching hot. I mean, it was scorching hot at like 12 o'clock today. And Lord knows what it's going to be like when I go back outside. But today's training is about going from girlhood to womanhood. And this is, I don't know if training is the right word, because going from girlhood to womanhood, in my experience, is a lifelong affair. And so this is going to be casual. You know, I made it private because I like the feeling of doing things privately and being able to connect and like be here differently than feeling like I'm doing this big old thing where a bunch of people who probably shouldn't be, you know, it's a different kind of feeling. So there are 7 points that I'm going to make here about going from girlhood to womanhood. And if you're here, I'm imagining that you've been following me for some time. So I'm not going to go into all the things I've done that are amazing. I'm looking out my window. I have my neighbors got their things going on their balcony. But I'm not going to go into, you know, oh, I've done that. We're not going to do that. Because the truth is, for me to have been able to do all that is me becoming a woman. You know, so we're going to be here, by the way, for no more than an hour. But the process, I want to paint a picture for you of what I know is your experience because it was mine and it's universal. I've dealt with clients who have gone through this, and I've been able to see the ones who want more, who are frustrated, and who don't end up having more. And then the ones who want more and what they do and how I'm able to support them and like things that happen in between, you know, going from having just enough money or less than just enough and then rising up to the next level, and then the turbulence that goes when they're rising to the next level, and then everything that it takes, my experience, and then being able to watch other women do this. And so what I want to really position for you is my reality once upon a time, which I know is the reality for many of you, is that like I get on the internet, kind of like how you're in the internet, right? Going on Facebook, whatever, you know, social media site. And this was like 2013. And there was a part of me, excuse me, that felt very capable. And remember, I was broke. Like I had like, I say $7, but it was more like $6 and some change. And then if I went to go get coffee, right, you know, then it's $5 and, you know, and I felt very capable, and I knew what I needed to do on some level. Like I knew the action steps as far as the business building is concerned. But there was a part of me that just wouldn't let myself show up the way I knew inside of myself. And even if I didn't know exactly, you know, the woman I needed to be, I knew there was another woman that I needed to be. And this stuff that I know, I don't see anybody talking about it. So this is, I think the umbrella that I want to share here is that ultimately what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to take your pain to penetrate yourself. Now, I know that sounds weird. And I was actually thinking about this morning when I was thinking about being here with you and what it's when I look at what I've done and when I look at what my clients do and what's not talked about, because out here in the coaching space and the online marketing and branding, it's like work hard, be confident, write sales copy, 5 figures, 6 figures, right? There's all that. But to get to like really do that consistently, it's everything that's going on inside of you. Everything. And then, so what is that thing? And so I'm going to give 7 points here that I came up with that when I really like started to distill it, like, how does this work on the inside? What is the decisions that are made, and then like the emotional turbulence and everything that happens that's necessary if you're going to get to the money. And money's not everything, but it's right up there with air and water. So one of my mentors used to say years ago, money's not everything, but it's right up there with air and water. And I had another mentor, she's still a mentor now, and she always says, money is not the most important thing, but it touches everything that is. And so I'm going to be sharing, perhaps you saw that I offered this insane, I know it might seem kind of like, what? Incredible offer inside of the Facebook group and to the list, where I offered a VIP day here in Paris with me. And as a bonus, this is the first time, only time I'm doing this. This is radical. I feel like I can do it though, right? Because there's so much good going on in my life, and I can afford to do it energetically and all that. So it's, you come here with me in Paris, okay, for a VIP day, which will be incredible. It's a great opportunity for you to step into just that feeling of doing something bigger, like literally like an elevation. With that, I will bonus you, which means complimentary, a full year of coaching with me. A full year, like really get that, which means as you're navigating all the stuff that I'm getting ready to talk about in really becoming the woman who makes the money, feel welcome to chat me here. We're going to have a small group here today, and I would love for you to say hi to me. I would love to know, like I already know who's registered because I looked at the list, but I'd love to see your name, you're typing on the screen. So in your chat box, go ahead and chat me up. So I'm just going to get to it. So girlhood to womanhood. And let me define the two. Hi, Alex. So girlhood, right? Girlhood is blaming other people for your problems. And I want to be clear that, hi, Ellery. I want to be clear that you're not bad or wrong for still behaving like a girl. Okay? We live in a world that encourages us to behave like little girls. We have our friends and our family who give us conditional love as long as we comply with behaving like girls. So all of the mediocre playing people, all of the people who you might even call friends now, who you love them and they love you, they love you as long as you are compliant in being who you are right now, today, right? And so there's a behavior in that. And so there's what happens oftentimes with me when I'm in enrollment conversations with women is there's this kind of way that they play sleep, play like they don't know, play like they're not in power. And it's the same thing I did when I was broke. It was like I didn't want to admit that I was even powerful. Like I would never even say that out loud. There's no way I would say I'm powerful. I have what it takes. I deserve a lot of money. Like I might kind of say it maybe in my head, but I would never say it out loud, and I would definitely never say it online, right? So there was this kind of way, and I know you guys are doing it too. Like if I were to get on the phone with you, we would see how you would interact with me. And so if I know if you're doing it with me, you're doing it with other people and you're doing it with yourself, where you there's this internal agreement to stay smaller, right? There's this agreement that, and it's not even just that, it's the fear of what will happen if you have the audacity to show up powerfully, okay? So all this is little girl behavior, blaming, playing victim, waiting for somebody to come, show up and, right, save you. And I could go on and on and on, right? That would be really fun to do if we were in a physical room together. So that's girlhood. And then womanhood is recognizing that everything that happens, that happens for you, because as a girl, you look at everything as happening to you. That's how girls think. Look what's happened to me. Why is this happening to me? Look at this happened to me. Why is this happening to me? As a woman, you look at everything as happening for you. So if you're in a place right now where you are frustrated financially, you recognize this is happening for you. So then you look for the power in it. That's the way a woman thinks. Like, okay, so I'm in this financially disempowered place that I've chosen, obviously, because as an adult, there's nowhere you can be in a place without your allowance and permission of it. There's no, like where you are, you're here now because you choose to be here now with me and with yourself and the other women. And as soon as you don't want to be here anymore, you're going to go, right? Where you live right now, if someone came and just right where you're sitting at right now, let's say you're at home and somebody comes into your house, right, to rob you or to cause some kind of harm to you, you don't want to be there anymore. So you're going to fight, you're going to leave, you're going to call the cops, you're going to do something. That's choice and empowered position to do something different, to do something else. So when it comes to money, the woman, an empowered woman, looks at what's going on within her, because it's not going to be an action. I think all of you here, if you're here, you've been watching me, you already know what to do. And yet you're not doing it. It's because of what's going on the inside. Now, you see a lot of coaches out there telling you how to have 5-figure months and 6-figure months and da-da-da-da. And when you're hungry and you come in like blazing guns, like, right? Because this happened to me. You come in blazing guns and you're hungry and you're ready. What happens is you might have 2 or 3 months where you make $10,000. Maybe, right? But what happens is you never consistently make that because of everything that's going on the inside. So let's talk about what needs to transform on the inside for you to go from blaming, still wanting to, like a lot of the women who I've been talking to this week who want more, but they're not doing what they need to do to have more. Like, how is that? How could you be frustrated financially? You know what you need to do to have more, but you're not doing what it takes to have more, and you don't know why you're doing that. This looks, I don't like how this is. And you don't know why. Like, how do I tolerate this financial situation that I hate so much, that I don't like, right? And so I'm going to say a little bit about that, and then I'm going to go into. So one thing you really need to ask, and this is powerful, and I've heard one 7-figure coach talk about this. I've never heard any other coach talk about this, and I know a lot of coaches, is that sometimes you actually want to be where you are. Like, there's a part of you that's like, doesn't like it, and it's frustrating, but you might just really like where you are. Like, you like the drama of it. You like feeling downtrodden. You like being out of responsibility, because as long as you're broke and you don't have what you want, there's a kind of responsibility you don't have to take, right? There's certain bills you don't have to pay for. You don't have to show up in your business really because you're not making the money. There's no financial, right, commitments or responsibility. And so it's like, that's kind of comforting. Like, gosh, I don't have to make this money and pay these bills and whatever. You might like the drama of going up and down in your income. Like, that's something that I had to ask myself. And when I really was like honest, it just blew my mind that like I actually liked being broke. There was a kind of safetiness in being broke because I didn't have to show up. I didn't have to tell the truth. I didn't have to pay certain bills, right? I could rely on my mother because that's who I was like. And like, if that's you, first of all, because I want to help people so much, like, I don't want you to be here because I want to help you get to the other side. I don't want to support you in staying where you are. And what I'm finding, like, gosh, I feel like I know things that people don't know, or they know it and they're not telling. So let me get to it. So when it's time for us to make money consistently, there's two things going on. There's our higher self that can really see possibilities for ourselves. We just know that we're meant for more. We just know that we're meant for greater. Even if you are living with your mother, right? Even if you feel downtrodden and poor or whatever, you know, like you have that. And then at the same time, you got the human side of you that's terrified and just doesn't have answers and, feels stuck and why can't I push through? And I'm afraid of this with my mother, and right? So these two things are going on simultaneously. And what happens is, boom, you make the decision that you're going to make more money. Now, see, and that's a whole other thing, making a decision. Because when you make the decision, things start to happen. Okay? So the number one in going from girl to woman is making the decision that you're going to grow up. And when I talk about girl to woman, I'm talking about the person who you need to be to not even just make the money. Like, let's assume that money is included here. Okay? Let's assume the money is included. I'm talking about you being able to have everything you want. The vision, the life, the money, the man, the everything. Okay? The support, the everything. The first thing that needs to happen is you need to make the decision that you're going to have it. What I find in this is that is, like, if I had to put order of hardness, because these different things that I'm getting ready to share, a few of them are really hard. So if I had to put the order of hardness, I'd say this might be number one, is making the decision that you're going to grow up. Because when you make the decision that you're going to grow up, what happens is you're saying that you're willing to confront and disconnect from anything and everything that doesn't support you in getting to the next level. So what that means is that takes you to number two on my list here, by the way, which is abandoning your tribe, right? So when you make the decision that you're going to grow up, that means you're abandoning the tribe that supported you in getting to where you are. So that tribe could include your mother. It could include your existing network. It could include a boyfriend, a husband, right? A sister, right? All these people. Now, the reason why this is so hard is because we are innately wired to belong to community. Like, not having someone you can talk to about your problems, to go to the beach with, to call at the end of the day, to celebrate, to not have that, and to be on this path of becoming a woman who you are not yet, but you're, right, ascending to, that right there is enough to make a woman say, no, I can't. Like, I've literally had clients who say yes, they make the decision for us to work together. And then it's required of them to either have a difficult conversation with somebody or release attachment from somebody who's abusive or disempowering or doesn't support them in some kind of a way. And they get some kind of negative feedback from somebody who they care about, who they love or whatever. And it's so harming internally that they don't want to work with me anymore. But it's not because they don't want to work with me anymore. It's the pain of the abandonment, of disconnecting, like that ache of like breaking the ties with your mother who verbally abuses you. Even though it's abusive, there's a comfort there. Like, part of your identity is being a disempowered daughter with your mother. So even though it's painful and it's wrong and it keeps you small and feeling terrible, there's a comfort in that. There's this kind of like, oh, you know, it's kind of like women who have suffered from domestic violence and they keep going back to this man who gives them a black eye every 30 days. There's a comfort, there's a familiarity. And so what I see with a lot of women, even women who I just get on the phone with, and when we get really real, there's something going on with the mother, right? That is deep, like it's a part of her soul, you know? There's something with a husband, oh God, right? Something with a husband, a man who they've been with for 7, 12, 15 years. And in order for her to become the woman who makes consistent money, because the money is the power, it's a high frequency, it's a reverent position, it's a high self-regard, because money is energy, it's a frequency that's going on. And when you're down here, disempowered, it's hard to bring in money because money vibrates. So when you're in these addictive relationship with your mother, addictive relationship with your husband, right? And it comes time to break that energetically, on the inside, it feels like death. This is why it feels so hostile and it feels so much like, ah! like that's how it feels on the inside. And this is when women start crying. And this is what I help you fucking break. This is what I help you fucking break. Like, this is the shit. This, like, it's nearly impossible to do this by yourself. This is why you have all of these women, like, I can see through them. Like, I can see their power. But that means nothing if they don't agree to allow me to support them in breaking these ties that they have to mediocrity, to old identities that feel safe. Like, even if you're like broke and living somewhere you don't want to live and all that, there's a safetyness. It's like, oh, I don't have to, you know, confront my mother. I don't have to confront the part of me that's terrified. I don't have to get right. And you hate it at the exact same time. And so what happens when we're working together, I have this beautiful former client. She's like one of the best examples where, you know, she has her whole family is like mediocre. This is what she's just like, right? Like, she's the one who wants more and none of them do. And she came to me. She actually didn't even have the money for us to work together. And we had a conversation. And she made the decision. Remember, I told you, when you make the decision, all kind of shit starts to happen in your favor. So she made the decision that we were going to work together. And a week later, she had the money. So she made a deposit for us to work together. And about a month after we started working together, she had told me that her dream was to go to Maui for 6 weeks. And I remember, and she wanted to have consistent $10,000 a month. And I remember after about a month and a half of us working together, and we were working, she was already a coach, okay? We were working out the inner stuff, because that was her thing, the inner stuff. She had a list. I mean, she had following online. It was all inner stuff going on with her. And I remember we got on the coaching call, and we were actively getting her to Maui. Like, that was the goal. Like, I was there to be there as accountability so she didn't abandon. And she was like, she got on the phone and she was down. Like, her energy was down, and it was like, whoa, right? And she was just like, I feel like I'm asking for too much. You know, this money, like this kind of money, I feel like I'm, you know. And her mind was coming in, like the old girl, the girl. Remember we talked about how the little girl thinks, where, you know, there's this kind of like wanting to be saved and not wanting to show up and afraid. And all this is valid. Like, I'm not even saying this is bad. I've had my own, okay? Just like that feeling of, oh, I don't know if I can do this. And then the mind starts to do its thing. And see, when you're alone, and this is what happened to me for so long. And I really wanted to prove that I could get through alone. And so I remember me too, like, I've been there. It's like when the mind starts to go, right? The mind starts to go. And then before you get one thought, and it's like, for her, it was like, I feel like I'm asking for too much to go from her financial situation at the time to 5,000 and then 10. Like, she was like, right? And then for me, it was just like, I'm not really sure I can do this. That was the thought, that I'm not really sure I can do this. And see, when you linger in that and you're by yourself, boom, out, you're out, you're out. But see, what happened is she had me there as a support, that accountability, that regular accountability for her to come with that. And then we revisit the dream. And not only that, I would be able to remind her about things that she said just last week or 3 weeks ago. And then it'd be like an awakening. And then we would map out what she needs to do thereafter when we get off the phone. Map out, right? And then really looking at the Maui thing, like what she even wants Maui to look like, right? So there was that ugliness going on for her. And then there was like a week or so before she actually booked everything to go to Maui. So here we are working together. What happened in between that time, she kept going. So first of all, the success is she kept going, right? Because many of us stop. I've quit many, many times. And so she kept going. And so I remember she had the money. So I helped her do this. I helped her make the money that she needed to make to go to Maui. And she was terrified to buy the ticket. Terrified. Because making that investment was saying, I am doing this and I'm choosing, even though I've made this progress, I'm choosing to go up versus staying here or going back. Like, so that's what you need to understand with money. When you make an investment with your being, and this is why the financial investment is so important. I remember the first time I invested in a high-level mastermind. Now, keep in mind, I remember once upon a time, I used to be like, I'm not paying $1,000 for an event. An event to transform my life, I'd be like, I'm not paying $1,000 for that. I remember the first time I invested in a mastermind that was, how much was this mastermind? It was 30 or 40,000. And I remember when I made that investment, first of all, I was already on the rise and I wasn't going back. Like, because I had already gone back so many times, like, go back and then shred and go. And I was like, I'm not going. It's like, I'm going. Like, and so I remember I was ready and I made the investment. And I remember just doing that increased my self-respect so much that I started showing up online differently. I started showing up much more like motherfucker, like, cause I felt my confidence just went through the roof because of an investment I made. Not even because of money I made, like I did that. Now I'm in a high level mastermind. I'm high level. Like it just boosted everything. And so this is why when you invest with your whole being, when you invest with your money, this universe, you show up. It's like, right? Vibrationally, you just get up there. So she was terrified to buy the ticket to go to Maui. She did it anyway. So this is what I mean by you're terrified and you're hungry and you want it. And instead of letting the terror hold you, you make the decision to go. And so she bought the ticket. And I remember I was on the beach. You can have coaching calls on the beach, by the way. I was on the beach in the south of France and we were on a coaching call and she's like, Naima, I just bought my ticket to go to Maui. I got my Airbnb and I'm telling you, I started screaming because part of me, because you just never know with clients if they're going to follow through, right? Because it's not my job to make them follow through or you. It's my job to support you in the follow through. To coach you in the follow through, to hold your hand in the follow through, but I can't make you actually walk through the door. So I remember there was a part of me that was like, fuck, like holding the space that she would do it, because you never know. And she did it. And I remember I just was screaming and I was just like, oh my, and I could feel like literally I could feel her as a different woman on the phone. And because I had been with her for months, because I think we started working together in February. That was June. So 4 months or something like that. Because I had seen her stretch and go from this little girl of maybe I'm asking for too much. I'm not sure. I'm down. And then making the decision to go up and to say yes, in spite of the fear, to be a part of that, and to watch her. It was even inspiring for me. And so this is what it looks like when you're like, ugh. And so for me, So like that's that. And like she continued to go on. She came back from Maui. Matter of fact, she had her first $12,000 client while she was in LA, because she went from Maui to LA. Like she was really working on getting her frequency up. Then she went on to Awesomeness Fest, which is, many of you guys might already know about this. I think it happens twice a year. It costs like $3,000 just to get in. Then you got to fly. Like, so her income, and then she was just at Awesomeness Fest again this like 2 weeks ago or something like that. And there she goes, increasing. And so what happens with this whole abandoning the tribe, because she and I both, this disconnection from our mothers, and not like hating your mother, not like making her wrong and bad, but disconnecting and recreating your own story. So number one is making the decision to grow up. Number two is abandoning the tribe. Number three is, well, I wasn't sure of the order, right? Because both of these can be done simultaneously. So 3 I have here is creating your own, like handpicking your own community. And number 4 is rewriting your own truth. So what happens when you disconnect from whoever, whether it's your mother? For me, it was definitely my mother. And it was also from these stories that I had created of other people can have what they want and I can't have what I want. And just that. And also it was a pushing through the fear of being killed, because that was a big one for me, right? Deeply held, that comes from being a woman, because we were killed for being powerful, and like being in possession of large amounts of money as a woman. Like this is a new phenomenon for many women to be in possession of large amounts of money consistently. And so for me, like I was terrified once upon a time of making more money than my mother. And it literally felt like I would be in the presence of my mother, and I was making more money and was afraid to talk to her about it. And what it felt like was almost like going to war with my mother for power. That's what it felt like. It felt like going to war with my mother for power. And who wants to go to war with their mother? Like, hello, right? And so I had to confront that. And that's what you're going to have to do, whether it's your mother, your husband. You might have to divorce somebody. And this is why it's so fucking hard. Ugh. And this is why you got to get the support. I didn't want to disconnect from my mother, but I was willing to spend less time with her. I was willing to remove myself from her to whatever degree I needed to have what it is that I wanted. So what I chose to do was to have a very radically honest conversation with her and tell her straight up, Mom, I'm concerned about our relationship if I grow up and get bigger in the presence of you. I'm worried about what's going to happen with our relationship if I make more money than you. Like I literally had this conversation with my mother, and I had it with her more than once. I also had a conversation with my mother about jealousy, because I smelled some kind of jealousy from her, because your mother is used to you, depending, like your mother might be totally cool with you making 2-3 times 4, right? As much more money than her. However, my mother, I felt a little something, and I wasn't willing to act like I didn't. Little girls act like they don't know. Little girls are like, I don't know, maybe that's my mother. I don't know, maybe I'm just, we sleep, we play small, we forget, we act like we don't know. A woman is radically honest. She admits what she sees, what she feels, what she knows, and she speaks on it. That's where power is. That's the power that you need. And so this is internally, this will feel very violent for you internally. It's going to feel wrong. It's going to feel bad. You're going to feel grief. You're going to cry. You perhaps may want to throw up. Like this is what all this feels like. And you're likely not going to push through that over the long term, because you might push through it once or twice, but I'm talking about your life. Remember, I'm talking about going from where you are now to 5,000, 10,000, 15, whatever your number is. And so what happens is when you do not learn how to create a whole new way of being, you will make money, but you won't make it consistently. and you will never get to the dollar amount that you want. You will always feel like you're making money, but you won't get to the actual amount that you want, the actual lifestyle that you want, because there's a way of being that you need to be. So I want to talk a little bit about this VIP day. Then I'm going to go into the other 4 here that I have for going from girlhood to womanhood. So a VIP day is deeply transformational. My goal is to support you. The reason why I did this bonus of coaching with me for a full year, oh my God, just saying that is like, oh my God, like how do you not do that? But my goal is to transform you at a core and permanent level. I did feast or famine for Lord knows how long, but I did feast or famine where I'd make some money and then I wouldn't make any money for 3 months, right? I'd make 10,000 and then I'd make 2,000 the next month. Exhausting, frustrating. You can never make any real plans. There's always this feeling of some kind of disempowered, like a part of you always kind of feels like, can I do it? Because you realize you aren't doing it consistently. And so my goal is to not just help you make money, because I've helped a lot of women make money. My goal is to help you transform at a deep core level, not just have a few $10,000 months, but to help you change at a core and permanent level. Because what I find is that the women who work with me over the long term, they make money consistently over the long term. Because what happens is you make some money, you get excited, you have a few months where you're making whatever the goal is for you, and then your shit comes up. And when you're by yourself, typically you plateau. You stay right there at whatever your dollar amount is. Or you start to push, or you start to get frustrated, and then you start to rescind. So then you make less money, then you don't feel good, and your energy goes down. Like I've seen it, I've done it, I've seen it. And what I'm telling you is that a VIP day first just infuses you with a whole new way of being, right? Because you come here, just imagine you getting on a plane, coming here to Paris, you and me in a suite, like me focusing exclusively on you and what it is that you need. Like you really need to see this, because VIP days are transformational. And you being able to just unload everything. The fear of, right? The fear of death, the fear of, right? Or maybe it's not a fear. Maybe it's just like this sickness that you feel, this grief that you're going through when you're removing yourself from whatever the story is, the man, the wife, the mother, right? Because when you're breaking that tie, it feels like death. And for me to be able to zone in on like the deeper, because like I do really good with the dark. I do. I do really good with being able to see through you and hearing the things that you're not saying. That is there. It's always there. And it's controlling a lot of what's going on with you. Like I get on the phone with these women and they're saying one thing, but I see another thing. And so then I'm able to speak on, and then we transform that. I remember the last VIP day, not the last, but one of the last VIP days I had with a client. She was in the bathroom throwing up, like getting the shit out. Like, so you invest in a VIP day to come to Paris. Like, is that the most amazing thing ever? But not only do you have that experience, you get an entire year of coaching with me that you don't pay for. Private coaching with me starts at $18,000. Starts at $18,000. That's the beginning, and goes up to $100,000. You're getting a year of coaching with me, and you're not paying for it. You're only paying for the VIP day, which is $15,000. And you only have to pay. This is only for 24 more hours, though. That's one thing I need to remind you, which means you would need to register by tomorrow. And all you need to deposit is $3,000 for us to get started. $3,000. You get the whole year with a deposit of $3,000. So that means not only are you breaking through right there, like financial breakthrough, to make that decision and to make that investment, but you're going to be supported as you start to break this stuff more and more and more, because you're transforming at a core and permanent level, not just one $50,000 month, assuming that's your goal. Not just one $10,000 a month, but consistently. And being able to navigate the sickness and the throwing up and the feeling like you want to die and wanting to check out. Because this is what happens when you start to get into that murkiness of the internal stuff that's oftentimes of another dimension. It's of the soul, it's of the spirit. And yet you're here in the world where money and time and fear exists. So send me an email. If we're friends on Facebook, you can inbox me on Facebook, okay? We're cool like that. We're connected on Facebook. You're here, which means you give a shit about this. You can inbox me on Facebook if you want to take advantage of this, okay? And it's only for 3 women. That's another thing. 3 women, register by tomorrow, $3,000 deposit, VIP day here in Paris, and you can come anytime this year. You don't have to, right? So that's another awesome thing where you need time because the whole amount needs to be paid. That's another thing. The whole amount has to be paid before you have your VIP day. So if it takes you 6 months, because we're working together anyway, so if it takes you 6 months to pay it off, so be it. We have your VIP day in the fall. Maybe we have it in November. Maybe we have it in December, okay? But we can start coaching June, I think 8th it is, because next week I'm gone, I'm busy. But the following week, which I think is June 8th, which is a Thursday, we can start your coaching, right? We can start you on the inner stuff because I don't think it's, for most of you guys here right now, I don't think it's the doing part, like packaging, and I'm sure that's like a part of it. But your packages are going to sell and be powerful when we start doing with what's going on with you. Like we got to get you on the phone, like really breaking through the shit that's heavy, the shit that has you like hard, like not able to answer questions and shit like that. So let me get through these last 4 in our last 14 minutes. So the 4th one is, actually I did 4. So number 1 is you make the decision to grow up. Number 2 is you abandon the tribe. And remember, the tribe could be mother. It could be whoever it is that's not supporting you, that helps you stay small and mediocre and conditionally loves you as a result of that. Number 3 is creating your own. So handpicking your own community that supports you and elevating to the next level. Number 4 is rewriting your own truth, your own story, meaning who is the woman you're going to be? Who is the woman who you know you are? What is the reality that you're creating? Number 5 is identify your desires. True desire. So here's where we talk about universal law. So I'm going to say 5 and 6. So number 5 is identify your desires. Number 6 is mastering the manifestation of your desires. So this is where universal law comes in. Universal law says, if there's a thing that you want, I know some of you say you want to work with me, right? If that's a true desire, not just like because you're hurting so much, you want to stop the pain by working with me. That's not true desire. That's just because you just want to get out of pain. A true desire to actually become better, a true desire to have the money, a true desire to have the life, a true desire to help more people. If that's a true desire, that means the way to have it already exists in your field. This is universal law. This is not my opinion. This is not Hogan. The law states that if you have a true desire for a thing, the way to have it is already in your field. You just don't see it because of the way you see, which is your perception. Okay? This is why decision is so important. Because when you claim a thing that you don't yet have, and you make the decision to have it, claim a thing that you don't yet have, then you make a decision, all kind of magical shit starts happening that blows your mind. But when you sit behind the decision and you say, well, let me go try to come up with the money, and you haven't made a decision, oftentimes you don't come up with the money because you haven't made the decision that you're going to have the money. This shit used to piss me off before because I'm like, I do want this. But the difference between wanting it and making a decision is like this. Wanting it is me saying, Lisa, would you like to work together? Yes, I would really like to work together. Have you decided we're going to work together? Well, I know I need to. Like, I would really like to, you know? You can hear the but. Can't you hear the but in the way I just said that, right? but I'm just, like that. So that's how I want to looks like without making a decision. Making a decision looks like this. I'm going to work with you and I'm working with you this week. I'm coming up with the money this week. Like the client I told you about who went from not having the money to coming up with the deposit in 5 days to then going to Maui. And then now she's at consistent 5-figure. Like that's the difference. Oh, I'm coming up with the money. I'm going to have the money this week. We're working together. I'm coming up with the money this week. And that's the difference between the two. I really want to. I know I need to. I'm going to. I will. I am. When? This week. When? Next week. When? Whatever, right? So I just want to say that because I used to hate that shit because coaches, I used to hear coaches say, well, you haven't made the decision. Bitch, I did. That's how I used to feel. Now I know because now I've made so many decisions now on purpose where I'm like, I'm doing this. I'm investing in this. I'm going here. Whereas a decision, I'm going to do it. Then I got the power. Then magical shit started to happen. I create $10,000, $20,000, $50,000, $100,000 fucking months, man, because of a decision. So it's law. Whatever the thing is that you want, a new house, a trip somewhere, if you want it and it's a true desire, the way to have it is already in your field. So you need to start looking at, as a person who knows, and I actually just heard this and I thought this was great. You say this to yourself. This will help. As a person who knows that the way exists, what one thing can I do to have the thing that I want? As a person who knows that the way exists, what's the one thing I can do to have what it is that I want? So the thing to do might be an actual action, or it might be a whole new switching of thinking, where you might be thinking something like, I can't do that because it won't look good. I can't do that because I'm afraid of. The doing could be you changing that way of thinking, so then you have space to actually do the thing that's going to get you what you want. You see what I mean? Like this is what we need to address in what's stopping you from having what you want. So identify your desires and master the manifestation of your desires. I mean, it's like that's mandatory if you're going to have what you want, being able to master what you want. And then number 7, this is the final one, live the life of your dreams and be happy. Because that's what happens is you learn, this is what I'm going to teach you if we work together. I'm going to teach you how to be with darkness, how to be with the heaviness. Maybe you don't have heaviness, right? But this has been the experience of me and my clients. That when we start coming into the space of transforming internal stories and shame and guilt. And if you have any questions here, feel welcome to type them, by the way. Like, I want to share like some of the heavy shit that I've had to transform. And I understand why people quit. I really do. This is why I'm so fierce about the work I do. I'm so fierce about my pricing, because women who get close to me and stay close to me make a lot of money. And they make a lot of money consistently. Women who get close to me, when I say, I mean work together, not showing up to shit like this. But stay close to me, get close to me, and we work together because we get to work it out. Like they don't get taken out by the thing, the thought, the triggering that happens because now you're showing up differently and people are responding to you differently when you start to abandon the tribe, and then that whole shakedown, turbulence happens. And it's because I've pushed through is why I can help women so powerfully. Like the way I help women now, I could not help women like this 3 years ago because I hadn't pushed through. Like there's certain layers that you need to navigate to be able to help women in the powerful way that you can and you will once you get to the other side. You understand what I'm saying? Because if there's a way that you still are playing small and, sleeping and waiting to be saved and all that, that is the level of power to which you can help people transform. So the more powerful you become, the more you go from girl to woman, girl to woman, girl to woman every day, the more powerful you are, the greater client results your clients get, the more confident you are, the more money you feel like you can charge, the more money you get because you know it shows up, you communicating in your language, people feel it. Like you guys feel me. You feel me like this because of what I've been through. For those of you who've been following me for years, like there was some power, but you can feel the difference. because of what I've pushed through, because of what I've allowed myself to be supported in. Like, shit I've gone through with problem clients, with fear, with death. Like, I've had coaches there who've been there, done that, who have supported me in their own way. Because there's shit that I've gone through that I haven't heard other coaches talk about, but they have supported me in going through dark, just like where I just want to go hide under the bed and not do this shit at all. So there's been many, but one I want to share is, and I've shared this before, so be patient if you've heard it. But I remember having a real fear of being killed. Like, it was paralyzing. And I remember getting on a flight. I was getting ready to go have a speaking event in Atlanta, Georgia, and I'd never been to Atlanta. I was flying from Florida to Atlanta. And this panic came out of nowhere, just panic. And I was on this tour. It was a tour I created myself. It was called, I can't remember the name, but I think it was Better Sex and Deeper Intimacy. I think is what it was called. And man, I was just feeling so fierce about helping women to embrace their sexual power, to be powerful in life, to be powerful in business, to be powerful in relationships. And I remember just this panic came over me. And this is going from girlhood to womanhood, because this is my first time being very public about sexual empowerment. This tour was like, this was a part of me really being publicly powerful and going from girl to woman. And so for you, think about how much of you is afraid to be powerful in public, especially when you feel like you don't have all the money and the lifestyle to match it. So maybe you feel like a fraud. That was me. Like, I knew I had the goods. I knew I had the power, but I didn't have the material wealth to be like, look at what I've done. See, this is why I'm good enough for you to hire me. See? And so what I hung on to, was truth. Like, truth was my serum. Truth was my way to penetrate online, was speaking radical honesty and speaking my story. Like, that's how you're going to penetrate online. And so, and then being visible consistently with that. And so I was like so terrified, and I had to push through. And I got to Atlanta, and the woman who was helping me organize everything down there, her presence is what helped. But then I ended up having to call this healer guy that I had completely forgotten about. He just dropped in my consciousness while I was in Atlanta. But I had to call him, and like, that helped me get through. Like, I literally was struggling to get off the couch. I was afraid somebody in Atlanta was going to kill me, because here I am talking about sexual empowerment in public. And, and then there was the time my mother confronted me, because remember I said I'm making the decision to grow up and then abandoning the tribe. So part of the ways that I abandoned the tribe and rewrote my own story, remember I said number 4 was rewriting your own story, was I started writing publicly, completely unfiltered. Now, see, that was my choice. You have to decide if that's the way for you. I have women contacting me now saying that if I tell the truth and tell my story, I'm going to expose my mother. I've had women contact me and tell me that. And they're afraid of what they call exposing their mother. Because what harm am I going to cause? What danger is that going to put me in? See, that's a deep, right? That's a core thing. And so I made the decision that I was willing to put it all out there, because my freedom was more important than my mom being upset with what I put out there. Now, I made that call for myself. I'm not saying that's what you need to do, but if you feel called to do that, you do it. And so this blog I started writing at the end of 2013, I think it was, and I was talking about sexual abuse as a girl. I was talking about allowing men to use me and take advantage of me as a teenage girl. I was talking about the financial stories that I picked up because of my upbringing that had me playing as a broke victim little girl. This was my way to get free. I'm telling you, you guys, you will have to do some hard shit to break free. And that's what I'm here for. That's my specialty. My specialty is actually not business coaching. As much as I talk about money and I can help you with some strategy and make money, my specialty is not business coaching. My specialty is helping you break through what you need to break through so you can make the money. Because that's how I've made the money. All the fucking strategy I was doing before I started making money is the same shit I'm doing now. But only now I got the power to back the strategy. I got the power. I got the visibility. I got the unapologetic expression. I got the, you know what I mean? Like, I don't give a fuck. And it's not that I don't care. There's a fine line. It's not like I don't give a fuck. It's not like I'm heartless. It's not like I'm, right? It's that I know who I am and I'm unapologetic about what I want and I will have it. Versus before, it was like, I hope I don't make more money than my mother. What are people going to think? What's going to happen? Can I really do this? Like, that's how I used to think. And so a lot of me getting through, I'd say 50% of it was me making the decision and pushing through, etc. And the other part was me having people in my corner, specifically higher paid, more evolved, emotionally evolved coaches and mentors. That's what I want to be for you. So if we resonate, get in contact with me. Like I said, message me on Facebook. If we're not connected on Facebook, shoot me an email to questions@theopulentlife.com. I never check this email, by the way. My client care manager takes care of all the email that comes to questions@theopulentlife.com. However, she is off for the weekend. And so I'm going to check it to see if there's some of you or somebody else there who wants to take advantage of a VIP day with me, plus the bonus of bonus of a full year of coaching with me. I have a question here. Can you explain again that if I pay the can you explain again that if I pay the deposit within 24 hours, then we can start working together? And when I pay the remaining fees, we can break the intensive, right? Right. And how often is coaching with you? Twice a month. You get 2 coaching calls a month. Great question, Alex. Thank you. So yes, we start June 8th with your $3,000 deposit within 24 hours. Right. And then when you pay, yes. And then how often is coaching? Twice a month. The coaching is twice a month on the phone with me, and then email access as much as you need. Okay? Email access as much as you need. So you have questions, etc. You know what? And I'm going to sweeten this. I'm going to motherfucking sweeten it. I'm feeling it, so I'm going to do it. Register within the next 24 hours, and I'm going to bonus you with 5 emergency calls. This is what an emergency call looks like. Emergency call is where it's outside of our schedule. Like, so when you sign up to work with me, all of my private clients, my client care manager will send you a link to my private calendar that only my private clients have, which shows you availability on Mondays and Thursdays to book a call with me, because I only coach on Mondays and Thursdays. So that's what my private clients get. So you will get that as a private client. But this bonus that I'm talking about right now, which are the emergency calls, you don't have to go through the calendar. You can literally send a message and say, I'd like to have a coaching call with Naima today or tomorrow, right? It could be a Friday, it could be a Saturday, right? Because what happens, this work that we do, shit comes up. All of my clients use their emergency calls, all of them. Well, 99% of them use their emergency calls because the shit gets thick, right? You panic, shit happens. So you're gonna get 5 of those to use whenever you want. Use whenever. You can use one next week. You can use one 5 months, 2 months, whenever you want to use it. So typically I'm available with my goal. I give these because I really want to be that, because I have wanted that myself. So I give these because it's something that I have wanted so many times. Like, I don't want to wait till we have our coaching call. I need to talk now. Like, I have had that so many times. And so I want to be that for you. Okay. So 5, that's another bonus you get. 5 emergency. So I want to reiterate as I'm wrapping up here. I want to reiterate the 7.7. Look at what I said. The 7 points that I made here today about going from girlhood to womanhood, what it takes. Okay. First of all, it's all inner. You get to the money by becoming a woman. So number 1 is you make the decision to grow up. Number 2, you abandon the tribe that does not support you in growing into a woman. Number 3 is you create and hand select your own community. That would be me. That would be other women who are going for it. Number 4 is you rewrite your own truth. So whatever lie you've been living is, I'm a single mother and I can't do it. And not right now, and I can't, and this, whatever the thing is, you rewrite it. I support you in doing all this in our private coaching. Number 5, identify your desires. That's a ton of fun. Master your manifesting desire. Master how to manifest, which is a huge part of what we're going to be doing. And then live the life of your dreams and learn and be happy, but also learn how to be with all the stuff that comes up, because it's going to come. I still deal with heaviness today. The difference between being a girl dealing with heaviness and disappointment and grief and all that, and being a woman, is when you're a girl, it stops you. You go to sleep for a few weeks. You disappear from the internet for a month. You play small. You blame. You eat gallons of ice cream and cry, and right? And you do it with no purpose. Versus as a woman, you still have grief, you still feel heaviness, you still may even eat a gallon of ice cream, you still cry, but you learn how to use it. Like I said in the beginning of our time here together, you learn how to use your pain to penetrate yourself, versus as a girl, your pain is an excuse to stop and play small and not have what you want. I'm going to teach you how to do all this. But the real magic comes from working together over an extended period of time and transforming at a core and permanent level, not just a 30-day thing or a 90-day. Just imagine you and I working together for 5 months, 7 months, 9 months, 12 months. And all you pay is the investment for the VIP day. So I'm wrapping up, guys. We are finished here. It's 3:30 in the afternoon here in Paris. I have a guest arriving here within the next 15 minutes. This was good. I'm going to do another training on Monday. You guys are the first to hear about it. And it's called, let me see if I can find it. I would love to tell you. Basically, it's about going from 6 to multiple 6 figures in a customizable way, not a formula, but how do you go from 6 to multiple 6 figures in the way you want to? See, in the beginning, you need formulas and like somebody to guide you, because you literally don't know what you're doing. You don't know what you don't know. You're still finding yourself. But when you start making money, and I know there's a couple of you here that are already doing that, you're making money, and what you really need is to come home to who you are and the truth of who you are, so you can start to come out in the world and really make your own way, create your own formula, move about business. Ellery, this just came to me, but Ellery, it's time. So I'm going to wrap up here. I got to go. Hold on one second. We need to plug up. I want to say this two last things. Let me go. No, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to leave that. But what I will say is that you have what it takes. And if no one's ever told you, I'm telling you that when it comes to this money game of making large amounts of money consistently, it's navigating the invisible, murky, dark stuff and having someone to be there with you while you're going through it. This is what I didn't have. And this is what a lot of this I've done on my own. And even today, like, my coaches are not supporting me in this way. This is me knowing what I know and then figuring out the next level and the next level of navigating what it takes to go from multiple 6 figures up into million, high 6 figures, 700,000, 800,000, million, right? So many coaches are not going to make it because it's inside. It's inside. It's inside. It's the fear of being killed. It's right. And I'm telling you, in our VIP day together, we're going to break this shit. We're going to penetrate this. I know how to work with it. I know how to have the container for you. I know how to question you so that it comes out. Then when we're in person, there's a whole other magic. I mean, it's really, awesome. And I would just love to be that for you. I would love to be that for you. It's a game changer. So helping you transform at a core and permanent level. That's what this is about. Core level. So deep, deep, deep. Then at a permanent level. So it's not just a few big months. It's every single month for the rest of your life, as long as you choose to have it so. All right? So you see, I could go on and on and on. Lots of love, darling. I'll see you guys later. Thanks for being here.